The observer would like to advise that the following video comes with a trigger warning. The content in this video is of a sensitive nature, so please beware that the topic of this video may trigger you. The observer recommends that you consider your own mental health before you watch this video.
Show us now, show everyone. Out me on the app, dox me, show everybody what I've done. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, show. Thank you, Bunny. In my opinion, this is... Tom had some attention on him when he was using my name before. That's all dried up now. And he also can't say, oh, he hates me because of the Jay Slater case and all this now, because he's become True Crime Tom. So I was always what he wanted to be like, right? Let's be honest. You started off your hate campaign against women like me because I was a true crime creator, and now you've changed your name to True Crime Tom to be like me. So now you want to make out that I was Miss Blue or someone else. Do you know what I mean? At least make it funny. Make me be like someone, like funny, offensive, something on the app. But Miss Blue was a knobhead. Miss Blue wasn't even clever. Thank you, just me. Miss Blue doxed several people and never found the right one. Never. One of my mods in my Discord found the real Richard Kenworthy, and they don't want to be named because what he'll do to them. They found, and it was only we went live with who he was when we had confirmed it was him. So we didn't dox strangers. I didn't go live and guess at who people were and put out pictures of loads of people and say this may be Tenerife Tom. We only actually told you who he was when we had factual proof that's who he was. And that's what a real investigator does, Tom. You're just stabbing around in the dark trying to make content. It's embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. Do you know what his evidence was? His evidence, right, was to put Miss Baguette on the screen. Her face morphs into mine, and then mine morphs into Delmac. That was the evidence. And I looked really good bold, by the way. It's weird. Like, why are you messing around with my face? Trying to make me morph into bold men. Like, do you know what I mean? That fits in with the malt loaf thing. When you were taking pictures on me, it was a really nice picture as well, so thanks for using a good one, Tom, on your green screen, and you're morphing me into people like Duncan Goodhue, there's a fucking issue and it ain't mine. Let's be honest about that. Do you know what I mean? How many screen slideshows do you have in your house of me morphing into different celebrities? Because that's just fucking weird. And how many malt loaves have you put up your bum in the meantime? It's weird. It's fucking weird. I just know you guys, my community, expect things from me, yeah? So if I'm actually going to tell you something that I've just found out my mod Sophie is actually Chipmunk, the rapper from London, I would expect you guys to say, can you prove that? Can you show us that Sophie is Chipmunk? Because we've seen her on the screen and she's white with frizzy hair, and it's not, sorry, curly hair, Sophie, and it's not her. Like, I would just expect you to ask me for evidence, and I would expect people to have to provide that evidence. Me making Sophie like morph into Chipmunk is not proof. Oh, sorry about the frizzy thing, so if I meant earlier, I'm just annoyed. It's just weird. It's really, really odd. So if you reveal yourself, so it's like, oops a daisy, I did it again. Justice for Soph, man. Sophie is in the room, Mrs. Khan. I wouldn't have used her as an example if she wasn't here. But it is really, oh, it's some hot chocolate with cream, Kiki, in my pumpkin cup that Taylor got for me. I actually decided to have a hot chocolate to celebrate Tom making himself look an absolute dumbass again, because when it comes out who it really is, again, he's going to have to... I think he said, like, me and Baguette are actually administrators of Comet Cafe, and we were deleting posts that said that I was Miss Blue. He's mad. I don't even have an account on Comet Cafe. They hate me. They hate me in Comet Cafe. Go and type in my name on Comet Cafe and see what they say about me. Do you know what I mean? For someone who's actually the administrator of it, I'm allowing a lot of bad shit about me to be said. It's a good job I'm here to solve the crimes, isn't it? Because Tom is failing. That's what I said, Danny. I said I've got 3 girls. I've just moved house. I'm literally putting about in between 8 and 10 videos a day, plus doing 2 to 3 full crime cases a night. Where have I got the time? And I've actually got loads of conversations I had with Miss Blue. Loads of conversations I had with her. Like, so unless I was literally modding my own lives, telling crime stories while I was gifting myself and fucking muting people on a different phone without you guys noticing, and arguing with myself in messages, then do you know what I mean? It had nothing to do with me. Miss Blue was fine with me. I modded her during the Jay Slater lives because there was like 7k people in the room and I was literally panicking and loads of my mods were at work or asleep or whatever. And she said, you can mod me, I'm Baguette's friend, so I modded her. Turns out she wasn't Baguette's friend anyway. And I modded her and then she said, oh, I'm going to come into your mod folders in Discord. I said, no you're not, I don't even know who you are. But I'm not putting my mods around you when I don't even know who you are. And thank God I fucking didn't. Thank God I fucking didn't. And I said, unless I see you on the phone, a picture of you speaking to me in a video, then I will never trust you to go in my mod folders. My mod folders are really sacred. Like, they're all the best people, the people I trust the most in the world in those mod folders. And we talk about stuff that's like sensitive and real life stuff. So I was never good. And then that's when she switched. That's when she switched up. She was like, Baguette's in there, so why can't I come in there? Baguette was in there at the time. And I said, because I've spoken to Baguette on the phone and I know who she is. I knew Baguette was Jenny. I've known since the first day I met Baguette who she was. She never hid it from me. I had on WhatsApp with her picture, so there was no reason for me not to have Baguette in my mod folder. But Blue was a different kettle of fish. I had no idea if she was male or female. But I've never heard a voice note. And I've been in groups with her as well. We were trying to figure out who Tenerife Tom was. I'd never heard a voice. Remember the weird silent live that she did? The weird silent live where there was like 4 colours sat in there and no one spoke a word for 3 hours. You've seen me talking. When have you ever seen me able to be quiet for 5 seconds, let alone 4 hours? Do you know what I mean? And my mods were messaging me. I was at the circus with the kids at my niece's birthday saying, there's a silent live going on and everyone thinks because Blue's your mod it's something to do with you. And I was like, what are they saying? She's like, nothing. I'm like, what do you mean they're saying nothing? They're still saying nothing. And I was just panicking thinking, what the fuck is going on? Like, why start up a live? I know, Frank, exactly. I don't even stop. So yeah, I just wanted to say that quickly. I'm not Miss Blue. I've never been Miss Blue. I don't know who Miss Blue is. 100% Danny. Do you know what I mean? I would have literally ended up giggling, sneezing, coughing, something. Thank you, Jasper. Just to make it very clear, the man is about as much a detective as he is a kind person, and it's just weird. Why do people have news? I don't know. When Miss Blue decided that she was going to start going against me because I wouldn't let her in the mod folder, and at this point Miss Blue had doxed 3 separate men saying they were Tenerife Tom, I said to her, like, I can't do this. Like, I can't keep doxing innocent people. Like, the reasons you're giving me why that's Tenerife Tom don't make sense. You haven't got evidence and you're just putting it out there. So she was like, she stopped talking to me. She blocked me, and then the colours came back. There was like green, blue, magenta, gold, yellow, and they all had screen like pictures of them with yellow hair and a whole yellow room around them. It was just fucking weird, man. But I can assure you it's nothing to do with me. And I would just tell you guys, right, I've never lied to you before, and I would just be like, look, I had to be Miss Blue for this reason, and this reason, and we were trying to catch Tenerife Tom. I would just say it. I would own it. That's the thing, like, it was an Irish woman last week. Chile is one channel, and that's why I left Miss Baguette's live. I won't sit with Chile. I won't sit with Chile because he played both sides, and at one point I felt like he was moving in a way that he knew I was getting the payback for. The colours, stuff like that, like none of that stuff helped me. It brought me more hell, it brought me more shit, and it brought more people do. And I said, look, this is why you can't be around me. The missing young boy has been found. I did see that today, Ho. And I can guarantee you, I promise you, if I'd found out one of my mods was one of the colours, I would have unmodded them instantly, like I got rid of Blue. Right, I would have unmodded them instantly, because at the time, no matter what happens around Blue or anyone else, the only person who gets held accountable for that and pays for it is me, even though it's got nothing to do with me. So if one of my mods had been playing one of those colours, they would have been gone, deaded, done. Because I don't need it. I don't need the drama. I don't need the games. And if I was interested in the drama and the games and all that shit, you would have seen me sat with people like Tenerife Tom, going into his box, arguing, fighting, bitching. I've never been interested in the drama. It would do nothing for me to go over and sit there with a man like that. Nothing. Yeah, so Blue was just someone who, she was a moderator for me during the Jay Slater case because everything was so busy in here. Thank you, Cass. She was only a TikTok live mod. She wasn't in my mod folder. She wasn't around me like that. And then at that point, that is what Tom is outing me today for being Miss Blue. Apparently me and Miss Baguette are Miss Blue together. I don't even really speak to Miss Baguette very much anymore, like not for any reason, but we've just kind of like doing our own thing. So if we had this great shared secret and we were trying to share this account, thank you guys, and this login, then you'd see me around them all right. Did you know Comet Cafe? Yes, Buddy, I did. I did know they were Comet Cafe. And at the time, I had Baguette, who was Comet Cafe, who was a moderator and a good friend of mine. I knew who she was. Thank you, I knew her identity. And I had other people who subscribed to me and who come in my room who are Comet Cafe. And no matter how people want to switch it up, yeah, some of Comet Cafe are good people. And there are some of Comet Cafe who I get on with, who show me respect on the app, who show up to my lives, who repost my video, who are good people. And there are some who are absolutely awful, who I've never had around me and are blocked. So I did know she was Comet Cafe, which is one of the reasons I wouldn't let her in my mod folders until she could prove who she is. So that's what happened. So yeah, thank you, Charlie. So in that moment when I modded her, I'd be lying if I said I didn't know she was Comet Cafe. I absolutely did. Her name was Blue Official Comet Cafe. Me either, Blue Storm. I literally was just about to log on live to come do a crime live, and I got a message saying, by the way, you've just been outed as Miss Blue. It's you, Delmac. And Baguette's in. Baguette was live, so I was like, I need to go and find out how they've come up with this, because obviously not Comet Cafe, Comment Cafe. It's nothing to do with me. Thank you, Free. So I jumped into Baguette's live to say, look, what are they on about? She said there was no evidence. They're just saying shit. Thank you, Kim. And then I was talking to Miss Blue, and then Chili come up on the live, so I just dropped down and left because I'm not interested in sitting with him either. Anyone who's playing these games on the app, colour games, secret accounts, snaking people, docs, I'm not fucking out. I'm not interested. Yeah, I'm not going to sit with people like that. Once someone shows themselves to me, I'm done. Like, I'm done. So I'm not going to sit with Chili to try and find out information. I'm not asked. I'd rather not have the information. I really would. Jen Bob telling me if Tom's just outed me as being Miss Blue, apparently. Yeah. And let's not forget, Sophie started off as Miss Blue, right? Tom docked Sophie at first, my mod. She was Miss Blue. Then it was an Irish woman. Then it was a man on a green screen. Who, by the way, if I'm Miss Blue, who's that man on the green screen? Because I wouldn't touch him with a fucking barge pole. I wouldn't touch him with greys. Literally, I wouldn't. Like, I don't even know who he was. He looked like a What's It with glasses on, and I literally wouldn't. So I don't know who that man is on the green screen. Now it's Baggy, Delmac and me. If my green screen has somehow slipped and that little weird man was on the screen, I need to know who he was and why he was in my house, because literally he looked like a very skinny version of Tom. I've told you I'm Miss Blue, I know, Jem. And literally my real name is Hayley Blue, and I've been hiding it from everyone. No, not Blue Storm. Thank you, Kaz. Thank you, Jasmine. Blue Storm is my moderator in here, who has nothing to do with Miss Blue. Blue Storm has been my mod since probably the first day I joined the app. She's absolutely wonderful, and she's been here forever. And Miss Blue Storm would never ever do anything like that. Yeah. So yeah, no. So I just wanted to let people know, like, I swear on my life, Miss Blue is not nothing to do with me. I've got no idea who she is. And if people do find out who she is, I would like to know. But apart from that, I'm not about to. I'm not about to go out of my way to find someone who I'm not asked who it is. So what did Beth just ask me? What did Chili do? So in my opinion, he was playing both sides. He was telling me that he was trying to keep me safe and find out who Blue was, and then he was telling Blue things about me, and he was kind of playing both sides. And then it turned out that he was Mr. Yellow or something, and I was just like, nah, like, because you doing that is coming back on me. Like, I am not having people, thank you, Emma, from my camp messing around doing shit like that I'm going to pay for, no one else. He was Mr. Red, was he? Whichever one he was. Was he Mr. Red, was it? I don't know. I'm lost at this point. I know Delmac was Mr. Black, and I know Miss Blue was Miss Blue. I know they offered Mr. Green to my mod Paul, and Paul came to me on WhatsApp and said, what should I do? I said, absolutely fucking not. I said, do not agree to be any colour. We're not playing that game. We're not getting involved, and I will distance myself from anyone who agrees to be one of the colours. And that was it. I don't know who the rest are. I believe Delmac brother is Mr. Yellow. That's maybe where I'm getting confused. Thank you, witches. I just don't understand, right? Why not? I don't know what the colours mean, Jacqueline. I only understand that it was blue was the original count, so she named everyone the United Colours, something around that, because she was already Miss Blue, I take it. I don't know what even the end game was. It was absolutely pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. And I'll tell you one of the reasons why it mainly wasn't me, okay? One of the reasons it mainly wasn't me is because at one point when I was taking a break from the app, one of those people who were the colours leaked messages that were private to one of my mods that could have caused a lot of heartache and pain to their family, and I'm not going into more detail than that. There is absolutely no way that me or any of my mods would have done that to another moderator. And luckily, they had no kind of views or anything in it for it to really make an impact. But they tried to. So 100% is not me. Thank you for the ghost, guys. I'm going to be Miss Rubik's Cube. Yes, I just wanted to say that. And apart from that, I'm not going to keep going on about it. He can spout whatever shit he wants to. But until he comes with some actual evidence, and if he did have actual evidence that someone around me has been Miss Blue, I can guarantee you right now I will cut that person off forever in an instant. But even if it's a moderator, they'll be gone. Because there's no excuse. And I'm the one that's paid for it all along. So as soon as I find out who it is, if there's actual evidence and actual proof, I would literally be done with that person, whether it be Baguette, whether it be one of the mods, whether it be Delma, no matter who it was, they would be gone. And for the record, I don't think it's any of those people. I'll just say Hayley Strip Drip, but that's how strongly I feel about this. Like, I would just be done. Oh, guys, look at you. I literally was ranting so much then, I didn't even realise you'd all done my goal. Thank you, guys. And I am going to stop talking about it there because it's just quite boring. It just changed the skull minute so it doesn't keep flashing up. Thank you for the heart me's, guys. Thank you so much. I like that little ghost. Little ghost, what are they feeding you? Okay. Let's do some pumpkins. Pumpkins. Right, so I just want to say, what's some pictures of your house? What pictures? What pictures of my house? I imagine you're actually on a weird account, like trying to say that they've got pictures of my house. I'm pretty sure no one's got pictures of my house. I'm missing these people on the app. There's some really scary people on this app. That Fat Freak showed. Whose house did Fat Freak show? Does anyone know what they're talking about? What Fat Freak showed? Why would Fat Freak show pictures of my house? Why would Fat Freak know where my house is? Was anyone in Fat Freak's life to see whose house he showed? Thank you, Kerry. Alicia, whose house did Fat Freak show on his live? I don't know. I don't think it's my house, to be fair. It was Cockapoo's house. Okay. Yeah. Okay. It was Cockapoo's house, and whoever's done that to Cockapoo is absolutely disgusting. Disgusting. I'll just literally say that. If you are someone who follows me and absolutely finds what happened to Cockapoo to stay funny or any of those things, then you're probably not someone I would want to be a member of my community. Like, I don't even care what she's done first, right? As soon as you find out that a woman is struggling for her life with cancer and you're all still mocking her, laughing, putting pictures up of her house, putting her address up, putting her partner's name up, you are actually, I don't understand why adults are acting like that. It's disgusting. Literally absolutely disgusting. I've been so fucking ashamed of this app today and the things that people do. I've had beef with Cockapoo, yeah, we haven't always got on. But the moment you find out someone's got cancer, like, the past is forgiven, the past is forgotten, and I've got nothing but good thoughts for her, that she literally recovers as soon as possible and she has the best people around her. Like, I don't know anyone else in this room yet who has not been in some way impacted by cancer. And yeah, apart from that, it should never be done. But especially when they found out that she had cancer and she had a pre-op today, or a pre-op appointment today, in which she said on the live, the fact that you're still putting up pictures of cancer victims and putting her face over the top, and you're putting up pictures of graves with her name on it, you're disgusting. I hope none of you are raised in the future children, man. Like, what has happened today on this app, and the amount of adults I've seen like laugh about it, say karma, she deserves it. What kind of fucking people are you? Animals, man. I was in a live earlier and I was watching the comments and I thought, there's 3,000 of you in here and you're all mocking it and you're all saying horrific things. And then after this live, you're going to go and tuck your children in bed. And I hope you're fucking ashamed of yourself. I hope you're fucking ashamed of yourself, because if my kids at 11 and 17 did that to someone, I'd be taken to the fucking police station. And you're adults. You're fucking adults. And you're doing that to people. Yeah? No, you haven't done anything. Karma's real, man. And honestly, like, she's going to need all of her strength to fight a real life battle now, yeah? To fight a life or death battle. And she's going to need everything she's got to do that. And the fact that anyone would want to literally put anything in her way of doing that, you deal yourself, because I literally, yes, Rico, I will literally, I looked at comments today and I blocked 3 or 4 people from our community because I saw them laughing at it, and I thought, I don't want you in here when we're talking about victims and talking about sensitive subjects and people who have died horrifically. Like, I don't want you in here. If you find that funny, you can go fuck yourself, honestly. Rico, I said yes, ask me a question. Yeah, in a minute, Soph. Just want to see what this guy wants to ask me. I can imagine what's going to be. Did I miss a case? No, I'm going to do it in a second. Exactly, Faith. My mum's in remission from breast cancer. And the worst news I ever had was that my mum had a lump in her breast after I'd already lost my dad. I don't even get upset about it, but literally, oh, Bev, bless you. And I literally, that day, me thinking, like, I can't go through that. I can't. Find out that she was in remission was like the best day of my life, because I don't know what I'd have done. Do you know what I mean? There's everyone in here must have some kind of loss, their own journey, something to do with cancer. It's the most evil thing on the planet. And to everyone here who survived it, to everyone who's fighting it, to everyone who has a family member going through it, like, my heart goes out to you, because it's evil. It doesn't care who it picks, and it picks anyone at any time. Thyroid cancer, 33, wow, I'm so sorry. You're in remission, I'm so glad you are. Lost your dad, so I'm sorry. My mum and younger brother, I'm so, honestly guys, everyone who's lost someone. I lost my uncle last year to sepsis caused by leukemia. And my godfather, he was as well. The count's gone, good gem. And I think it's one of those things, right, like child abuse, yeah, or cancer, DV, these words should connect us all as people and humanise us to each other, because every single person has a connection to cancer, and it's something that does what it wants to do and takes who it wants to take. No, Rico, I didn't see your question. It might have muted it if it was not particularly nice or worded a certain way. I love seeing all the people in here who have gone into remission, who are doing better, who are fighting. Okay, listen, what is it, Rico? I'm so sorry, guys, to anyone who's lost someone. I know it's I just think we need to sometimes just have a little bit of empathy and realise that even if it's just TikTok, thank you for the subs, guys, even if people think it's just TikTok, like, everyone on here is human, everyone on here has feelings, everyone on here should show compassion. This could be an amazing app. This could be absolutely, for a lot of us, it's our social life, it's our connection to the outside world. We just spend all day with our kids or whatever. This could be a really amazing place if there wasn't adults on it who thought things like this were funny. Like, if everyone had rallied today behind Cockapoo and everyone had forgotten all of the past, removed all of the doxing posts, and were just like, we're sorry, we didn't realise you were fighting this struggle, I would have so much respect for everybody who did that, who said, look, I put out your picture last night, but I'll remove it. Like, I didn't realise you were going through this, man. That would have shown to me that there was some empathy, some kind of compassion in this world. Thank you, Skylar. The fact that they continued then to make cancer survivor posts and continue to make gravestones with her name on. That to me, can somebody block that Rico? What did he ask? Can someone just block it? Because I'm pretty sure he's from Tenerife Tom's side. He's been rude. He's made some kind of weird thing. Just get rid of him, yeah. What did he even ask? Anything worth me knowing or not really? Yeah, it's my birthday on Saturday, for everyone was asking. Asked how cancer has affected me. I just said, didn't I? I said my mum was in remission. I lost my uncle. I lost my nan. I had precancerous cells in my cervix when I was 22 years of age, which I had half my cervix removed, which I had to fight to have that smear test because I knew something was wrong, and they finally gave it me, and if they hadn't, I don't know what happened. I think everyone has probably got just as many connections to cancer. 100% Shan. I see some big creators, yeah, be really horrific to Cockapoo and say some really horrific things. What surprises me is the comments all just go with it. Just all go with it, and they all say, like, they're laughing and they say horrific things. Like, that's what knocks my faith in humanity, like seeing so many people just all jumping on a bandwagon. Like, I would expect if I said something horrific about cancer, yeah, in this live, I would expect 95% of you to call me the fuck out. And I would expect some of you to leave and the rest of me to say, I'm unfollowing you, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I do not get it. Like, I would hope that none of you would make excuses for me. And I would hope that you would all hold me to account and be like, I ain't spending time sitting in a room with you. Honestly, I can't believe what I've seen today. Yeah, let's put red hearts for everyone who's struggling with cancer today, or who is going through this, or who is in remission. And for Cockapoo as well, man. Because she shouldn't have to be going through this at the same time. She shouldn't have to. No human being should ever have to go through this. I don't even care at this point what she's done in the past. I don't care if she's condescending. I don't care if me and her have fought in the past. I don't care if I don't agree with all of her decisions. I wish her the best, man. I hope she's got all the love and good people around her today, and I think she's ready to I hope she's ready to fight this, and she gets better. Right. It's from Shein. It's a bit mucky now because I had hot chocolate and cream in it. Taylor bought it from Shein. It's a pumpkin. It's one of these cups that's got a really wide, like, thing, so everything gets cold really quickly. It's a pumpkin, yeah. I think today's been really hard. I think it's just been like, even when Miss Red cried, the amount of people like, ha 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 ha, and I'm just like, what kind of people are you? Like, I don't like to see anyone upset, yeah. Even if someone's being horrible to me and they burst out crying, I would just feel awful. Like, I don't want anyone to be sad. I would never get no joy of anyone crying because of me, even no matter how much they'd hurt me. I would never. I don't like to see anyone targeted by a big group of people. I'll always side with the underdog. I will always side with the underdog. Like, when I see something like bullying and that, I hate it. I can't stand it. Thank you, Kate. Empathy's free, man. And the same people, I guarantee 95% of the people who've gone for Cockapoo today and gone for Miss Red have had the bio of mental health matters, because that happens all the time on this app. Do you know what I mean? The same people that say, thank you, Michelle, that we should back women survivors and stuff. We see someone come up and say, look, I've got cancer, I'm going to the hospital today and I don't really need all of this, and then people make gravestones for it and everyone goes, ha ha ha, and I'm just like, what the fuck, where were you raised? I'm a bit of an empath lad. I can have too much sometimes. I can literally be kind to people that perhaps don't deserve it sometimes, but I'd rather do that every day than not be nice to someone and something happen. The thing is, Angela, right? I get what you're saying. You need to remember all of these people have been horrible and bullied others on the app, yeah? She has cancer, okay? She has cancer, so that makes it so much bigger than the app. That's a fight for life and fucking death. So in my opinion, yeah, I don't care what she's done before. She could have called my mum stuff. She could have literally made my life hell. She could have mass reported my account and it got taken down. As soon as I know she's got a real life battle and she's going to be taking all of her strength to survive, I don't give a fuck what she's done. And she hasn't done nothing that bad, trust me. So I just don't understand. Yeah, Cockapoo. So when tit for tat doesn't work when we're talking about cancer, when we're talking about somebody who's really struggling and people are making gravestones for her and superimposing her face onto a woman with a bald head who's fighting cancer, that to me goes above and beyond any tit for tat shit. Always. I have had proper beef with Cockapoo, yeah, where we hated each other at one point. As soon as that happened today, I got a message to her through one of her friends saying, look, I am sorry if there's anything I can do. Like, I know we haven't gotten in, but I just wish you the best and I hope today went okay and I hope you're doing okay and I'm sorry about what they're doing to you. And instantly she responded overwhelmed and said, out of all the people that didn't have to have my back, that means a lot that you've done that you've reached out. So do you know what I mean? If I can do that, then it doesn't take much for anyone to be kind. And I'm not saying that because it makes me a big person. I would have done that for anyone, and I would imagine everyone feels the same way, that she deserves to have some peace now. Thanks, Glenn. Right. Who started pics? Oh, there's an account on here called Evil Avocado, I think they're called. And they've put some horrific... Loud. They put some horrific pictures up, man. Okay, so I just wanted to say quickly, just to give people some warning. Obviously, it's Wednesday tonight. Friday night, I'm going to have off. Chocolate as well. Friday night I'm going to have off because I'm going to be judging a talent show on Alicia's account. I hope most of you can come. I think it'll be good for us to do something that's just not crime based, just to have a laugh. It's going to be an open mic night for like rappers, singers and musicians, and there's going to be I think 5 judges. I'm one of them. I promised I'll do it. The details to it are in my story and also on Alicia's post if people can reset the repost it. It's on Alicia's Attic, the one that's my moderator in here. If you go to my story, you'll be able to see like all of the details. So it's going to be an open mic night. I think Gray might be entering. I'm not sure yet. He wanted to be a judge, but there wasn't room for him to be a judge. And I did say to him, I will not vote for him. Oh, really, Cav? I saw some whispers of that today. I am actually head judge on OMG. I am head judge because I am the most important. Can everyone just read that, please? I am going to be the head judge. I'm the one in the middle on the poster. So I am going to be the Simon Cowell of the panel. I'm going to wear extremely high trousers. How did Dame come in then? Just as I was announcing that I was the main judge. I hope no one looks me in the eye. Dame is another one of the judge. He is the real judge, but I'm the head judge. Any Liam updates? So the police have confirmed that yesterday, 6 days after what happened to Liam, they actually went in and collected all of the CCTV, and they have CCTV from the moment he got to the hotel, the whole time he was at the hotel, and the moment that whatever happened. So they now have that CCTV, which I think is massive and amazing news.
I would just like to say, Hayley, me and you have beef now.
What for?
I personally invited you to my box battle yesterday, and you said yes. And you didn't.
What did you?
When you was doing your present drama stuff.
Oh no, I didn't hear you invite me.
Yeah, I'm furious. And by the way, guys, I'm the real judge because at least I'll actually tell my true opinion. If someone's shit, they're shit, and I'll say it.
I am actually, Alicia's messaged me said I'm the top mod. The top judge.
Top judge?
You said I'm the top judge.
I'll literally just get her banned again. And I won't reappeal it for her.
Well, she said that without me, there is no talent show.
Without me, there's no account.
No, I will do your box battles. I promise. I will do them. I don't know. I don't want to lose though. People have to help me win.
Okay, come in tomorrow.
Tomorrow. What time is it?
8 p.m. every day.
8 p.m. Right, I'll do it tomorrow at 8 p.m. I promise, for my live case.
Okay, and OMG, you're not invited. And OMG, don't you dare ever speak to me ever again.
Why?
He's caused me problems, alarm and distress. He trolls me 24/7 in my life.
Oh, he's always really nice in my life.
Oh yeah, I've never seen him be nice to me.
Oh, he's really respectful and kind in my life.
Yeah, well, maybe he needs to learn some more respect for me.
Well, he was the one that told me that I'm going to be the top judge.
Yeah, he can eat shit.
I'll be at your box battles tomorrow night at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, and also, can you make sure, do you swear that you're not going to lie when this judging thing happens? You're not going to lie and be like, oh, that was decent.
No, because I'm really going to be good at it because I'm actually known to be a famous rapper. So I am actually...
If someone like raps like a 5-year-old, are you going to say it?
Yeah, I'm going to say, you can't rap, you are crap, please leave. That's what I'm going to say.
I'm going to hold you to that because I'm going to get some shit rappers in just to see what your lot's
I promise you, I won't be nasty, but I will be really honest. I'll be like, I'm just really sorry.
I'm going to be nasty. I'm going to say, oi, you're shit, get the fuck out.
I'll use the line I always use on Grey. I'll say, you're more likely to get a meal deal than a fucking record deal. I'll use that line. I'm gonna get some like banging put downs, and I'm just gonna be like, I will. I promise you, I will. I might even have like a drink, so I'm even worse.
I've got a really famous rapper. He's got like 100k followers, and he's released like an album, so he's coming in. And I've got a guy from Argentina that's been on The Voice.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I will. I promise I'll be a really good judge. I won't be really rude. Look at Glenn going, don't be nasty. I know, Glenn, but we have to be a little bit honest as well. Like, oh no, it wasn't very good, because otherwise, what's the point of the talent competition? Are you entering, Glenn?
Guys, make sure you enter. If you click on my story,
I believe the change here. There's a reason I give them that decision. I watch and judge. What do you mean, Jordan? You've literally just come in when I'm having a conversation, so I didn't really think to make a big deal of you. There's 887 people in the room. But, you know.
Yeah, she chases after me because I've got a gifting badge. I'll just let you guys know. Zach the Brat was right.
I literally will record 1 minute and 1 second of this live so I can make a video out of it for the Creative Fund.
Exactly, you better.
Okay.
Dame will tell me I'm shit. How about, can you get them in? I thought I was a supermod here. Can you get them in so I can hear like a 5-second clip to see if they've got a pre-entry?
I don't know if Glenn will sing right now.
Lynn, come in. Come on.
No one's going to tell him to sing after hearing you, but I know, Hayley.
Please.
I'm going to be kind though. Like I say that, but when people are there, I would be kind. I'll try and find something good in what they say. He's in his sister's.
Oh, okay.
I thought you said you were in your sister then, Glenn. I was going to say.
That's a bit odd. Wedding, Lauren. No, do you know what? I'm just a very honest person, so people might hate me. I'm going to be the evil one out of all of the judges, I'm guessing.
You can be the evil one if you want. I've been, since you spoke about queer, who are probably about big queers. No, you're all over. Jordan, you can literally have your opinion.
Yeah, I know, Jordan. Tell me about it, because she's around me and I'm a huge creator. And that's the main reason.
Do you know what, Jordan? You've never been in my room before. You've actually come in to troll me with your 35 followers. That's why I've not noticed you. Every single person in my room who is part of my community, I always actually talk to them, always answer them back. But you're a nobody to me because you've come in to cause trouble. So take his badge and stick it up your ass.
That was splendid. That was really well, like...
I mean, like, I'm hiding my gifting badge. And I'm like, you've got 35 followers. You've been on there about 3 seconds on a backup account. So really, take your face for a motherfucking shit. Yeah, guys, we're going to start a true crime case now.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Bye, time. Bye. I'll see you tomorrow at 8. I'll be there. I must not lose to Alicia. Right, what cases are we going to talk about? I ask you like you know and I don't. Can't even unlock my... do you know what I mean? People who come in here and say, I've hid my gifting badge, don't have a gifting badge. Like, I would never do that to anyone. Like, it's a choice to turn it on or off. But I would never go in somewhere and go, Alicia, I call her. Alicia from the block. Right, so let me just get my cases up because I was planning to come live earlier and then everything happened. No, I don't want a battle. Huh? What have I done? Oh yeah, that's what I want to talk about. Turn that off and then go to there. I just want to get this open quickly because that Tenerife Tom thing threw me off a little bit and I wasn't ready. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about, I've just called my Alexa Hayley. Oh my God. Can you do modern please? Yes, Sophie. Remove Sophie. Alright, done. Try that. Otherwise you have to close it down and come back in. So we're going to talk about the death of a soldier, which is pretty strange. It's a pretty strange case. And I think it's really, really important. And it comes from 2020. So, you know, it was time doing the whole, like, I can't even remember what dates COVID was, but I think it was around COVID time. It was a bad time, so just block that bit out. But we're going to talk about a soldier who was found dead in their barracks and kind of what happened and why it's so suspicious. I'm going to talk about that first. Yeah, that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to put a picture up. So Victoria was found dead in the river 2 days ago, which is really, really sad. There was another missing persons case I put up earlier, which I'm not going to name him, but it was a 14-year-old boy. And within an hour of putting up that post, his body was found. So his family have actually asked for some privacy, so I've just removed the post. Haven't put anything else up. So if you saw my post about the 14-year-old boy who went missing on his way to school Monday, that's why I've taken it down, because he was found deceased. And I don't really know at this time what the circumstances are, because I had research done. I just wanted to give his family a moment. So I just removed the post. But as always, like, my thoughts are with his family today, and also with Victoria's still, because it's just Lola's back. I've spoke to Lola today. Lola's back. She needed a break, so she took a break from the app. She was just all kind of just out with the Jay Slater case. So she is back today. There are rumours going around the app today that Lola is Mark Williams Thomas, and that's why she hasn't been live. So she says at some point she may go live, but I said, look, they're even saying that I'm you, so at the end of the day, people are always going to do it. She needs to keep herself anonymous because of some of the stuff she's actually saying about the case. So if people want to believe she's Mark Williams Thomas, let them do it, man. You know, someone said she was Ophelia's niece. Someone said I was Lola. A few people have just asked me kindly, like, oh, I just assumed Lola was you. I'm like, no, it's not me. But I'm just glad she's okay. She's back and she's feeling all right. So that's the update on Lola. What else was I going to say? There is a Sarah Sharif, thank you, Jasper, a Sarah Sharif petition in my bio on TikTok. So you just go to the link tree, and the first thing is the Sarah Sharif one, and it's to get enough signatures to pass Sarah's law, which is to make sure that all children who are abused and killed, their killers get whole life tariffs and aren't allowed to walk in society again. So that's up in there. I'm glad Lola saved me too. Yes, if you haven't signed that petition, please do after the live. Thank you, Mills. I think that's all the updates I need. Can you turn it down a tiny bit? So we're going to cover this case. I'm just going to use this as the picture from it. Oh, her name now is Misper, because someone pinned this to me. So MISPER, Misper, as in missing person, 200. So she's changed the name on here, but if you followed her before, you'll still be following her. Thank you, Chloe. Can someone just, can I pin it? So that is Lola's name on here. Okay. Loads of people did. So on the morning of the 23rd of January 2020, North Yorkshire Police were called to the Catterick garrison to investigate a sudden death. Lance Corporal Bernard Mongan was fully clothed but badly decomposed body was found in his barracks. His family were then informed. Bernard Francis Mongan was 33 years of age, 6'4", and served in the British Army just like his brothers. He was born in Bristol and he was raised in Ireland as part of a large family. We're just getting started now. Yeah, I just thought Faith just changed her picture really quickly. He was married to Bethany and they had 3 young daughters to whom he was absolutely devoted. Really, Bev? Oh, wow, okay. So he was absolutely devoted to his daughters. Now, although he and Bethany had separated by the time of his death, they were on good terms, they were best friends, and they were working really hard, okay, Faith, to raise the children together. Bernard originally joined the 1st Battalion Irish Guards in 2004 and saw action in the Iraq War. In 2012, he took redundancy as part of a government cutbacks and left the army, but rejoined to the Royal Signals 5 years ago, 5 years before he died, sorry, I should say, when he was attached to the Intelligence Corps stationed at Catterick Barracks in Yorkshire. He was due to begin a short-term transfer imminent at the 77 Brigade, headquarters in Berkshire, a challenge he was looking forward to because he was looking to get away from the barracks he was on, which we'll talk about in a minute. Thank you, Baguette. Thank you, Caroline. And he was looking forward to having this break in Berkshire and trying like this new kind of army position. And he was really excited and it was coming very quickly. Bethany described Bernard's work as very secret and sensitive, and he didn't talk a lot at home about exactly what he was doing in the army, but she knew that he was in the intelligence kind of job. People, including former army colleagues, described Bernard as kind-hearted with a good sense of humour, a soft, calm, friendly and gentle giant. I mean, he was 6'4". Now, according to both Bethany and his mother, Mary, Bernard had made allegations of racist bullying over the fact he was from the Irish traveller community. Bethany claims 2 soldiers from Northern Ireland attacked Bernard in November of 2018, and an investigation into bullying continued until November of 2019. A veteran support worker, Bella Innes, who had known Bernard for a decade, had remained in regular contact with him. And she said in a report after he died, Bernie was intensely bullied. He told me he was beaten up by 2 Irish guardsmen because he had a southern Irish accent. He said they called him a terrorist, beat him to the ground and jumped on his head. His face was black and blue. I know he's been bullied a lot in the past. Despite being 6'4", he always seemed to end up at the hands of someone being a victim. He apparently also claimed there were times when he felt he was being treated unfairly by senior members of the battalion. His leave would also always get cancelled at the last minute when he'd be looking forward to going to see his family and especially his daughters. And his career was not progressing as he felt it should have. He had a lot of experience by this time. Now we're going to go into kind of the timeline of kind of what happened here before we hear in his mother's own words kind of what she's trying to do. So on the 1st of January 2020, it's believed the last known contact anyone ever had with Bernard was when he spoke to his wife Bethany on the phone. Bethany said he was in good spirits and was looking forward to planning a trip to Lapland with the children. Police believe Bernard died on either the 1st or 2nd of January based on mobile phone records. Hey Emma. On the 4th of January 2020, Bella Innes sent messages to Bernard in the morning which were opened. However, by 2 p.m, any further messages remained unopened. And please just try and understand that the timeline there where we're saying police believe that he was dead by the 1st or 2nd of January 2020. But up until the 4th, messages were being answered. What's that penguin? I've never seen that before. Thank you, Mrs. Sorry. Is that a new one? I've not seen that before. Yeah, so somehow 2 days after he died, someone was still opening his messages if the timeline was correct. On the 8th of January 2020, Bernard was due to transfer to the 77th Brigade headquarters in Berkshire, but never arrived at the new post. And on the 23rd of January, North Yorkshire Police discovered Bernard's body in his room in Catterick. Police believe he had been dead for about 3 weeks, yet nobody noticed. No one at Catterick, nor at Berkshire, where he was due to start on the 8th, noticed. Now, to me, I've never lived an army lifestyle, none of my family or my parents, none of that, but I know how strict the kind of movements are there of like where you have to be at what time, what your job is, when you finish, your bunk being clean, all of that is so strict that how did nobody notice he was dead for 3 weeks? How is that possible? He was supposed to start a position on the 8th of January 2020. So if he didn't turn up, regimented, that's what I was looking for. If he didn't turn up to start, where was them thinking that he had gone AWOL? Or like asking like, where was he? Go and check his barracks. Like he was in his barracks dead. Like how did no one know? An army spokesperson said, following the sad death of Corporal Bernard Mongan, our thoughts remain with his family and we will continue to offer them support. This is clearly a tragic case and we ask that the privacy is respected during this very difficult time. We can confirm the civil police investigation is ongoing, which will have the full cooperation of the army. The well-being of our soldiers is paramount, and while it would be inappropriate to comment further on the investigation, the army will look at its findings very seriously. Like, I understand that. So an autopsy failed to provide an answer to the cause of death because the decomposition was too far advanced. And now his family are awaiting pathology results, but there is a chance they may not provide answers either, and they don't seem to have provided much in the way of answers. There was no note left that would indicate that someone did it on purpose, i.e. self-unaliving, and Bethany is adamant he was in a good state of mind when she last spoke to him. The police have now handed the investigation back to the army, who are not going to comment any further and don't seem to be doing a lot of work into finding out what happened to him. One thing I find really interesting is Bethany, who was his wife, actually said that he was in really good spirits, that he was really, really a great guy, that he was doing really well, and he was really excited. My son is up first thing in the morning. You would expect them to know where your son is all the time, wouldn't you, Bev? Like, not 3 weeks. It doesn't make any sense. So she said that he was in really good spirits and he couldn't wait to move to Berkshire, because when he moved to Berkshire, then he would get away from where he was being bullied. So he was really excited. Now, sometime over the next 2 years, Bethany started changing her statements and going to the media and saying, no, I think he did this himself. So I believe someone, some way paid her off, put pressure on her. Something changed in Bethany, where she went from fighting for justice for him and saying somebody did this, or he was bullied so badly, this was the outcome. She was saying, like, how did you not find him for 3 weeks? How did you never check? Like, why, when he didn't respond to like duty, when he didn't turn up in the mornings and stuff, why did no one look? And then all of a sudden she said, oh no, I think he did it himself. So what questions do we have in this case? It actually seems somewhat incredible that anyone could disappear on a military base, let's be honest, of all the places in the world. A place that prides itself on strict routine and regimented order, and not one but 2 different bases failed to notice he was missing, including senior officers at his barracks. How could this feasibly happen? Despite Beth's attempts, the army has failed to provide any answers or any explanation. And it'd be interesting to know what exactly was Bernard's accommodation. Where was it situated? Who was near him? Who was likely to go in there? And how did no one smell the scent of decomp for 3 weeks? There's also the question of Bernard's phone. According to police, they believed he died on either New Year's Day or the day after. However, Bella Innes messaged him on the 4th and he opened them. So how can a dead man open his messages? Now, to me, my guess would be that they left him in the barracks long enough that you wouldn't be able to get a cause of death. Because how else is no one noticing? I mean, on army barracks, yeah, surely like they're limited on space. Like even if you bunk on your own, you're going to be in a building with other people. There's no one living in a shed in the middle of nowhere. So how did no one notice? It's impossible to me that no one noticed. So Colonel Richard Kemp, a former commander of the British troops in Afghanistan, said, I've never before heard or experienced anything remotely like this to a service member of the armed forces or military bases. The army is usually scrupulous about accounting for every individual. There is a well-known military emphasis, no man will be left behind. It seems this man was left behind, and the very sad affair can only be due to a number of leaders failing to do their jobs. The family of Bernard feel aggrieved by what has happened, because it was only because his mother began publicly asking for help this story ever came to light. They obviously questioned the issues surrounding his death, but feel frustrated by the lack of communication from the army. Did Bernard pass away from natural causes? Was it caused by something more sinister? Did his bullies catch up to him? Like, what happened? Now, I'm going to go over to the change.org petition because it's by his mother, and I think we can never hear better than in a mother's words. So his mum started this, she started on the 10th of February 2020. It's got up to 25,000 signatures, and it's by his mum, Mary Monaghan. And she says, my lovely, lovely, caring, bright son, Bernard Francis Mongan, aged 33, from the travelling community, was left in army barracks for 3 weeks in his room to decompose. The army barracks did not think to check on him, even though they had a transfer awaiting him. We never got news that he had passed away until the 23rd of January 2020. We believe the last activity to be around the 2nd of January 2020, from what we've been told by the police, but we are still waiting for a further investigation. They told us he was found in his bed, fully clothed, without a mark on him, but the death is still unknown, and so far we don't have a cause of death, as the autopsy couldn't give us any answers. And we are waiting on pathology results, but we will never find out because his body is that decomposed. It may come back unknown again. It also took away my rights as a mother to see my son one final time. The mother of his children to see him, and his children to see their father one last time. And he also had 4 sisters and brothers to see him. My heart is truly broken. I'm afraid we will never be the same again after the terrible loss of having a very big impact on Bernard's father, his brothers, his sisters, his 3 little girls, and the mother of his children. We are hoping to get the right answers we want and deserve of what really might have happened to our lovely Bernard. I am a grieving mother that needs closure to what really happened to my beautiful boy. He survived through so much, fighting for his country alongside his brothers. For what? He always thought it was in his heart it was the right thing to do. He dedicated his life to the army, and for what? Look at what happened to my beautiful, precious boy. Such a lovely, gentle, harmless soul, my little gentle angel, giant. He stood by the army and his brothers, but in the end the army didn't stand by him. They failed him. They had a duty of care, but they'd just forgotten about him. How could this happen? I am now left heartbroken, and I have to say goodbye to my precious son without any answers or closures for myself, my children, my grandchildren. We are completely heartbroken, and we are afraid we may never heal or recover from this, especially if we don't have the answers. There is an article in the newspaper from the mother of his children, Bethany, with more information on about my beautiful son. My soldier, my boy, my hero, may you rest in perfect peace, my boy. We promise we will not stop until we get the answers. We are hoping we can get enough people to sign the petition for my son so our voice can be heard and we get the answers we want and need. Thank you, everyone, and God bless. So when you go to like more recent kind of publications about him, the most recent is in 2024. It was only early this year in May, and it talks about soldier who lay dead in barracks was a victim of systematic bullying. So they do address the fact that he was bullied. He was a victim of systematic harassment, and the inquest heard that Lance Corporal Bernard Mongan suffered bullying by those responsible for his welfare, which means his higher-ups. Bullies included some of the Lance Corporal superiors in his own chain of command. The hearing at North Hallerton Coroner's Court in North Yorkshire was told Lance Corporal Mongan was discovered dead in his single living accommodation on January the 23rd, 3 weeks after he was last seen. The soldier had, over the previous 2 Christmases, complained to the bosses about feeling like he wanted to unalive himself over Christmas periods. Welfare checks were supposed to be made on him over Christmas periods, as it was noted that in 2019 and 2020, the very period in which he met his death, that he was struggling. The soldier, who was also the victim of serious racially aggravated assault in 2018, as of this picture, was found weeks later. There was also concern from the family that the Army's official investigation had never properly investigated the bullying, concluding rather it should have just been investigated but never was. He said Bethany was also concerned that the truth would not come out unless those accused of bullying her late husband were called as witnesses at the hearing. There is copious amounts of evidence from multiple witnesses that those responsible for his welfare were bullying and harassing him. They recognised he was vulnerable. They knew that he didn't want to be here and felt suicidal over the 2 previous Christmases and did not like being on his own in single living accommodation. They put him on a regime of welfare checks because of that concern. However, they are now saying there is evidence that the system was in place, but they did not comply with it. They said they were asking for a full, fair and fearless investigation into the death of Lance Corporal Mongan and the circumstances surrounding his death. And that's the last thing that they've put about. That was all from May of this year, which is what they basically asking for a full investigation into what happened and how he was left in. I just don't understand how you could be in the British Army and them not find you. He was in the Intelligence Corps. Grim Reaper. What does that mean, Patricia? Grim Reaper. I'm going to put some pictures bigger on the screen. Bernard Mongan. What is this? This is where it happened. This is Bernard. This is after he was attacked by 2 other soldiers. That's all there really is to say about this, because I am always very careful, because I know a lot of people in the room will have either children or loved ones in the army. But there are so many horrific cases. I think we did like 3 or 4 before, American cases at the time of things that happen on barracks to soldiers and kind of suspicious deaths. There's a couple that I really like. They just can't be anything else other than murder, and the army kind of tried to cover things up all the time. But, you know, it's hard to do the cases sometimes, because I know that other people may have people in the army, and it can be hard to hear about what goes on sometimes.
Mom,
Yeah.
I have headache now.
Yeah. What medicine have you had?
The tablets anymore.
How many did you get those spoons have you had today? Taylor. That's why then.
I'm sorry.
Go and have them.
It tastes disgusting.
Big baby. You still got to have it, even if you don't like the taste of it. I trained there for 4 years ago. Vanessa Gillen is one. There was a girl in America. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. The one that was found with she was certain intimate parts had been super glued to hide evidence, and her hands had been super glued inside gloves and all sorts, so they couldn't do certain forensic information. Yeah, it's a heartbreaking case. So we're going to go back to we're going to talk about another UK case now. We're going to talk about a disappearance of a young girl that happened, I think it's 29 years ago now, that is still unexplained today. We're going to talk about the case of missing Ruth Wilson. There's a lot of essay that goes on in the army, especially to women. A lot of things are covered up. The army can be a really good, positive place for growth for younger people, but it can also be a place of hell for a lot of people. Right, so we're going to go to Joanne Jones. I actually put a video up today about Joanne Jones, unless you want to add something onto the video I've done. I did do a video about half an hour before I came live, because someone emailed me about her. Yeah, so I did do a video. I did try to get my Welsh names properly, but I'm at this stage where I'm just trying my best, because I just need to get the pictures out there and show that she is missing. If people can repost it, obviously she's a current missing person, 49 years of age, last seen on Monday morning. From Pontypridd, is that how we say it? So we're going to talk about Ruth Wilson. Now, it was a cold day in November of 1995, and a 16-year-old girl supposedly set off for sixth form, except this wasn't a normal day. And Ruth Wilson was last seen by a taxi driver after he dropped her off at Box Hill later that afternoon. Now, who was Ruth and what was known about her? Pontypridd. Thank you. I said Pontypridd in my video. And why has her disappearance been mainly ignored by much of the national media? So Ruth was born on the 31st of January 1979 in Surrey to parents Ian, a teacher, and Nesta Wilson. She lived in a 17th century cottage in the picturesque village of Betchworth that sits just outside of Dorking. She got along really well with her younger sister Jennifer, and they were to all intents and purposes a stereotypical middle-class family living as a suburban commuter belt in the beautiful part of Surrey. Night case. Now, sadly, her mother Nesta died on the 4th of December 1982, and Ian remarried to a woman called Karen just a year later. Ruth was raised knowing her mother had a tragic accident, having broken her neck after falling down the stairs, and so called Karen her mother. Despite tragedy, Ruth grew into a studious, well-mannered and traditional girl who was described by her ex-boyfriend Will as not cool, and kind of a little bit nerdy and weird, but unique at the same time. And she was just someone, she wasn't really desperate to fit in with the in crowd. She had some kind of thirst within her to kind of know more about where she come from. And as she got older, she started to ask questions about like her mother's side of the family, kind of started to realise more and more that Karen wasn't her real mother, and she'd kind of grown up in like a non-conventional kind of household without her mum. She was studying A-level chemistry and biology at Ashcombe School sixth form, where she had a very small circle of like-minded friends. Ruth enjoyed reading, music, playing the electric guitar and piano, and as well as going on bike rides. She also had a Saturday job working in a music shop, as well as being one of the most popular local babysitters. She was someone people ask all the time to babysit their children. She was really trusted in her community, and she seemed to be just a pretty normal 17-year-old girl kind of finding her feet. Now, Ian had become a local parish councillor, and Ruth was an active member of our local church, St Michael's, where she was a member of the choir. She played organ and enjoyed bell ringing. The image that was portrayed of Ruth at the time in the media was that she was a happy, settled girl who led a very busy life that was mainly around school, church and music. Now, at the time she disappeared, Ian, her father, was head of the school science department, and Karen was the deputy head of a school. Now, we're going to talk about the run-up to her disappearance. Now, on the Saturday, Ruth had worked in a music shop in Dorking and then went out for a meal with her ex-boyfriend. She went out with her ex-boyfriend Will and his best friend Neil. Now, her and Will were still very close, but it now transpires there were elements to her life that she hadn't divulged to him. On Sunday, she went to the bell ringing practice at the church before heading to a local youth club in Dorking, and then went back to Will's for supper before spending the evening at home. So it seems like even though Will's her ex-boyfriend, they'd kind of outgrown each other. And I think from the way I've heard Will describe their relationship, even though they were 17, it was a very different time back then in the early 90s. And they were kind of courting. That's what I would describe it, more than like dating. They weren't doing too much. They were kind of spending time together. They would go for walks. She was very comfortable at Will's home, so she would go there all the time for dinner, for supper. She would walk back there after school for a bit, and Will's family really liked her. Now, on Monday, the 27th of November 1995, it was a cold Monday morning, and Ian had an Ofsted inspection at school, her father, and he was in a hurry. He said the last time he saw his daughter Ruth, he kind of pushed past her, and he said, I remember being annoyed with her, and I said something like, out of my way, I'm in a hurry. And I'll always regret that they were sort of the last words I ever spoke to her. Thank you, Scooter. Thank you guys for the gifts and the ghosts and everything. Karen was a deputy head of a local primary school, and she left for work early as well, saying that she never really bumped into Ruth. She didn't see her that morning. Now, Ruth and Jenny always caught the bus together, but Ruth announced to Jenny, look, I've got a study period this morning. You go and get the bus to school, and I will catch up later on when I'm due at sixth form. Thank you. It wasn't unusual, but the fact she left it until the last minute to say anything kind of was. Because she, at that point, she acted to Jenny, her sister, like they were going to go together on the bus. So it was only like literally seconds before they were due to leave, thanks Jenny, that Ruth was like, oh, actually, no, I've got a study period, but I'll catch up with you. So Jenny just headed off to get the bus. Now, a little while afterwards, Will, her ex-partner, turned up and offered her a lift to school in his car. And she said, no, look, I've got some things to do at home, but I will be in school later. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Blue. I'll be at school later. Now, instead, Ruth ordered a taxi and headed to Dorking Library, where she spent a few hours, and we do know that. And then she popped into the Thistles florist in town, where she ordered a bouquet of flowers and gave strict instructions. And this will become important. So she went into Thistle Florist, ordered a bouquet of flowers, and gave them strict instructions they were to be delivered to her stepmother 2 days later, but not before that. And she said, look, it's an anniversary. I need you to take them. Please don't deliver them early. Just please get them to her 2 days before. 2 days after she went in, sorry. There was no card attached, no message, no nothing. She just wanted this bouquet of flowers delivered 2 days later. Now, Ruth was then seen again at Dorking Library at 4 p.m. before heading to the nearby main railway station, where she took another taxi to the Hand in Hand pub at the top of Box Hill. Now, Box Hill looks very much like... Did I get pictures of Box Hill? I thought I did. It looks very much like this. If you haven't been there, then obviously it's like massive. It's like a massive area. There is like... I believe there's like loads of does it go into the sea? Is it the sea that's there or water? Could I just ask someone that, because I should have looked at it before I came live. You know, where like there's a drop and there's loads of water. Is that just it's like cliffs near the sea? No sea there at all. No water. So it's just like Dales, Yorkshire Dales, that kind of layout. Water, no sea. What is the water there then? Like streams. So it's just like streams. No water. You just roll down the hills. It's in the middle of Surrey. Okay, guys, I'm not good with geography at all. Like, I've lived in Devon my whole life. I live near the sea. I assume everyone else does. So anyway, it's fields and woodland. Thank you, Tay. That's so much. That's better. Okay, so she asked this taxi driver, she says, please drop me to Box Hill. And he does. She says, can you drop me off at the bridle way near the pub? And the driver recalls watching her in his mirror, standing in the rain, soaking wet at the side of the road as he drove away. And he said he had an odd feeling, like he's driving away from this young girl. It's 4 p.m, so think it's getting dark. It's January. And he is, did I say it was January? I'm going mad. November, so it's very dark. I'm mixing the two cases. So it's 4 p.m. in November, so it's starting to get dark. And as he looks out of his rearview mirror, he sees her stood there. She hasn't got a jacket on. She's soaking wet, and she's just looking. And he's like, she must be meeting someone. But he drives off without thinking too much about it. This was the last time she was seen. It was 4:30 by the time he dropped her off there, and daylight was quickly fading. Her description is 5'3" tall, dark shoulder-length hair, blue eyes, and normally wore glasses. And that's all we've really got for her, because it's been so many years. You know, even if she was alive, if she's somewhere else, she's not going to be wearing the same clothes, but she would likely still need glasses. She would likely still be around 5'3" because she was 17, pretty much fully grown in height. And she naturally has dark shoulder-length hair and blue eyes. Now, that night, Surrey police began a huge search across 1,000 acres of parkland using dog handlers, heat-seeking equipment, and helicopters. Fellow pupils also joined the search, but it was fruitless. Ruth had simply vanished into thin air. 2 days later, a bunch of flowers arrive at the family home, addressed to Karen, her stepmother, that Ruth had ordered before she disappeared. And according to one report, within another 2 days, police discovered 3 notes hidden under a bush at Box Hill. One to her parents, one to her best friend, and another to a male friend. Nearby, they found an empty packet of paracetamol and a bottle of Vermouth. School friends told the police that Ruth often went to Box Hill after school before heading home. Some said she just liked to go there to think, she liked being outside in nature. Some said they believed she may sometimes have met someone there. But no one could really figure out vermouth. Literally, you guys know what I mean. I'm not a drinker. So literally, no one could work out, like, how often did she go there? What did she do there? Like, why? A month after her disappearance, Ian and Karen gave an interview to the Times newspaper in which they made a heartfelt appeal to Ruth. They said, "We love you dearly. We miss you terribly. We used to grumble about the sound of your electric guitar twanging away. Without it now, the house is just silent. It's just dead. Since you left, the piano hasn't been touched. It is now a house without music. Whatever the issue that drove you away or you found difficult to cope with, we will do everything in our power to try and sort it out." The article goes on to state that the homework was considered important in the household. Thank you, Purple. Her parents said, "Look, we made a real big deal about homework all the time, especially A-levels. We were both in the schools, we both taught. We really wanted her to do well, and maybe we were too hard on her. Maybe we pushed her too hard." Was Ruth being pushed too hard, or was the culture at home adding to the intolerable pressure to a girl who was clearly too busy and had taken on far too many activities? Thank you, Kim. Either way, the police later discovered that Ruth had been very worried about her grades and had hidden her last report from her parents that weekend. People have made numerous attempts to bring this matter to the forefront of the media, but there has been a reluctance by locals to speak with journalists as they were suspicious of journalists. Now, this is a really weird part of this case because I found out about Ruth's case about 10 years ago. It was on a programme on TV, which I watched with my mum, and I can't for the life of me remember what it was, but it was quite an older programme, and they had like a 10-minute segment on her being missing. And I remember even back then that locals would not talk about it. They would not talk about what happened to Ruth. And it's a real weird kind of setup because the only time I ever see like a wall of silence in cases is when people are scared, when people don't want to talk about people who are involved in cases, like Jamie Robe, for instance, when all the like gang members from London were like we're not going to we're not going to talk about it. We're not going to be targeted ourselves. So it makes no sense that these people in Surrey were like, no, we're not going to talk. We don't want to. So because of that, Ruth's case has never been massive. It's never been widely talked about. A new documentary has been aired in previous years. It followed journalist Martin Bright and former Scotland Yard detective Liam Macaulay, who have followed the case since 1995. Both Surrey Police and the Wilsons were asked to participate, but both Surrey Police and Ruth's own parents said no, they wouldn't take part in the documentary, and that again is bizarre. Ian told Martin, "I've made the final decision that I don't wish to participate in this particular project. I know that you will do a good job and your part is going to be very professional, like you've always been in the past, but it is a complicated one and I've made the final decision. You can probably tell from my voice that it's quite an emotional one." That's strange to me, man. You have an investigative journalist and a former Scotland Yard detective offering to look for your daughter, and you say, "No, I've made a final decision, we don't wish to take part." People dream about having this. Parents of missing people dream of having a duo of people who know what they're doing, who are going to also at the same time put into a documentary that is going to alert the whole of the British public into the fact your daughter is missing. Now, sightings of Ruth. One witness came forward stating she had known Ruth, although Ruth had been a couple of years older than her. She claimed she saw her walking along the Reigate Road holding a navy blue suitcase, either on the day she disappeared or the day afterwards. A fellow Ashcombe pupil thought she had seen Ruth in Dorking later the day that she went missing, so way after 4:30. According to one officer, in the weeks following Ruth's disappearance, there were some fairly reliable sightings of her in the Dorking area by people who knew her well. Now, this is one of the parts of the case that kind of is the one thing that kind of solidified the case in my mind, where I'm like, I will always remember Ruth's case, but probably for this fact, because it's just bizarre in a case to always have like little things like this. So a year after her disappearance, a young girl entered a small newspaper shop, a newsagent's in Dorking, and asked for a copy of every single local newspaper. So exactly a year after she disappeared. She goes in, she says to the store owner, "I need a copy of every local paper, please." And he says one of the newspapers locally is sold out, and she gets very emotional. She's like, "But I need it." And he's like, "Well, I've sold them all and I'm not going to be able to get any more in because it's, a new newspaper tomorrow." So she gets very distressed. Now, this was caught on the shop CCTV, and I'm going to show you the image of the young girl going in. Hey, everyone, come in. Thank you guys for the ghosts and stuff and helping me do my target. So this is the picture of the young girl in the newspaper shop. Now, the shopkeeper became very concerned. He was like, that's very strange. So he reports the incident to the authorities. Now, having watched the CCTV numerous times, Ian and Karen are convinced that this girl in the footage is Ruth. Now, could she have been going into the shop to buy the newspaper directly a year after she'd gone missing, hoping there would be appeals and hoping people would be talking about her case on the year anniversary? And was it when he said he had no local papers left that she kind of got really distressed and kind of thought, oh my God, could it be that her parents know more than they're letting on and would quite happily claim any girl in the newsagents as being Ruth because they want people to believe she's still alive and out there? I don't know. I think the parents act very suspiciously in this case. The constable that worked as the Wilsons' family liaison officer was a very familiar name to you guys. So the young police constable that was the Wilsons' family liaison officer was none other than Mark Williams Thomas. He wrote an internal report, Hayley, and he criticised the investigation and the methods used by Surrey Police. And as we know, Mark Williams Thomas was not liked by the police because he was always the first ones to slag them off despite the fact he worked for them, especially if he could get media interviews where he could put people down. He said in his report, the force never formally acknowledged the points I made. His report, written 5 months into the search for Ruth, highlighted what he regarded as a number of inadequacies. The search was just not done well enough. To be absolutely honest, Ruth could still be up there, he said, referring to the Box Hill area where she was last seen. There was also a lack of sufficient house-to-house inquiries, and a number of people were not spoken to until later on. These were fundamental errors. He added the report went to the superintendent, but it was never signed to indicate it had been seen. I got no actual response at all other than the report being handed back to me. To the best of my knowledge, no actions have been taken. He added the general force, however, had improved its procedures significantly for finding missing people since Ruth's disappearance. So, appeals. What appeals have been put out? So in February 1998, Iceland, the frozen food retailer, put Ruth's picture on the milk cartons as part of the Missing Children campaign. In 2006, Sergeant Shane Craven, head of East Surrey's police missing person team, launched a fresh appeal for information about Ruth's disappearance in the hope someone who was unable to speak out at the time could now come forward. December 2008, a fresh appeal was launched after Surrey Police received new information about a possible sighting in Canada. Sergeant Caroline Zammer from the Missing Persons team said 13 years on, we still do not know what happened to Ruth after she was dropped off by a taxi in the Hand in Hand pub in Box Hill. The investigation into her disappearance has never been closed. In March 2010, Roxy Birch made an appeal on BBC's Missing Live programme for information regarding Ruth's disappearance. In 2010, a new appeal was prompted when Ian wrote an open letter to Ruth on the 15th anniversary of her disappearance. We'll read that in a minute. In 2012, Ruth's disappearance was one of the number that was included within the big tweet for missing children, in which details of missing children were tweeted every half an hour. And in 2016, Sergeant Terry Hardy from the Missing Persons team said over the years we've followed up many possible sightings of Ruth, but we still do not know exactly what happened to Ruth after she was dropped off in a taxi. Okay, let me have a little drink and then we're going to talk about some new information. That's disgusting. Mountain Dew is all I can find in the fridge. Right, so after all of this and all this stuff's going on and people kind of trying to work out what was going on, and thank you Scooter, and kind of where, who knows actually, or where Ruth could be, a friend of Ruth's come forward and begins to talk out. Her name is Catherine. Thank you, Jodie. Now, Catherine was one of the best friends of Ruth before Ruth went missing, and she painted a very different picture of Ruth's life. Now, Catherine came out originally during the documentary that the parents didn't want to be a part of, so Catherine was like, and this was kind of the parents' kind of fault, because they didn't want to be in the documentary and they kind of declined it. So the documentary had no other choice but to start looking for other people in Ruth's life who may be a part of the documentary, because you want someone, right, who knew Ruth. Because if you want to reach out to people, you want to play on people's heartstrings, you want people to come forward with information, you really need someone who knew Ruth personally to kind of ask to find her, to appeal for her. Thank you, Kim. So Catherine comes along, she's been interviewed and new information starts coming out. And she's like, well, I was really close to Ruth. And Ruth bonded with me because we were both going through a really hard time. And she had a really hard time at home. And she said, look, she said Ruth had a lot going on in her head. And she had just discovered, due to the fact that she'd gone and asked for the records into her mother's death, that her mum hadn't fallen at all. The paperwork that Ruth picked up said that her mum had actually unalived herself. And Ruth very quickly believed that she had been lied to her whole life. She kind of said, you think you're alive? Well, I'm really glad you're alive, Katie. That's good to know. Lovely picture. So Ruth had found out her mum had unalived herself by Hanging. Okay? And she had found this out, and she had realised she'd been lied to her whole life, and started asking herself questions about, why would my mum not love me enough to stay with us? Why would she want to do that to herself? Why didn't she love us enough to put us before her mental health and all of this? I mean, she was 17. There were so many things you don't understand at 17. Now, something about what she'd always been told didn't quite add up for Ruth, and she'd only discovered the truth after looking into it herself. And this had left Ruth very troubled. Catherine claimed that she felt her childhood was based on a foundation of secrecies and lies. And then Ruth started to have some thoughts about whether her mum had even done it herself. And I think the fact that she started to look back on the fact that she had a brand new stepmother married in the house within a year of her mum's death. They not just met each other dating, they were married within a year. And then she started thinking, like, how quickly after my mum unalived herself were you in a relationship? She started doubting everything. And I know, like, for a child to kind of understand, hang, ing, some of the things I can't say on it because the live may get taken down. So she started to think, like, if you've lied to me about that, what else have you lied to me about? Like, I don't understand, like, what I can trust. Like, you're my dad. Like, if you're lying to me about how my mum died, like, what have I got left? Catherine's mother recalled that Ruth had slept over not long before she disappeared and had been adamant that she did not want to go back home, that she wanted to stay, and seemed quite panicked that they were trying to make her go home to her house. Ruth hadn't explained why, but it made Catherine's mother feel very uncomfortable about what was going on at home. Catherine feels that Ruth sending flowers to her stepmother was more a gesture of up yours than goodwill. When told the new revelation, Ian Wilson contacted Martin Bright and refuted any claims that Ruth had been troubled due to before her disappearance, although he admitted she was raised believing her mother had died after falling down the stairs, even though that wasn't true. Since the release of the documentary, another friend of Ruth's, Ben, said that Ruth had run away from home a month before she disappeared, and her father had hidden this from the media and from the police. Will and Neil, whom Ruth went to dinner with on the Saturday before she disappeared, have both come forward separately with new information since. Each corroborate the other's version of events and state that Ruth paid for the meal that night and told them that it would be something they could both remember her by. With so many new witnesses coming forward and offering information about Ruth's disappearance and desperate unhappiness prior to her disappearance, isn't it time that Surrey Police took a fresh look at what happened to Ruth Wilson? Now, the documentary brought to light this case for so many people, but it left so many people interested in Ruth's case, but having so many questions. Well, I've had to block that account because I don't think that I can have that woman in here saying that every case I cover is satanic abuse. Like, every case I cover, like, if there was a football missing, it's satanic abuse, and it's just so disrespectful. Like, there is no part of this case so far that would lead anyone to believe that that's what it is, and I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but in this case, I'm looking down and I'm thinking, you said it about Liam Payne the other night, you said it about Noah Donohoe the other night, you just can't keep doing it to victims. Like, sometimes you're looking for things that aren't there, but we are talking about a young girl who was 17, and I personally don't want to think about her being in any kind of ritual unless we need to go to that point, and right now we don't. Yeah, but she says it every night about every case as well. I just ask that people be a little bit respectful. Like, if I said to you there was a pentagram up a Box Hill, then maybe we'll go, oh, maybe there's some kind of ritualistic abuse here. But at the moment, we're looking for a young girl who's either run away from home, something's happened to her in the family home, or something horrific's happened and they haven't found her body. I don't see any part of thinking anything else. So the documentary left viewers with so many more questions than answered. With such discrepancies between those closest to Ruth, her family who were denying that she had anything wrong, and the police who haven't done enough, this case has been described as mysterious and suspicious by those in the area. And you get a sense that the general view held by many is that someone knows something and is withholding information. Was it a case of a carefree young girl disappearing, or was she a troubled youngster who decided to run away? If she did she achieve her aim, change her identity and pursue a new life? Or did she come to harm, either at her own hands or someone else's? Was it the pressure of A-levels, too much to bear at the time with the discovery of the truth of her mother's death? Why was the internal report written by Mark Williams Thomas ignored by Surrey Police? Were her roles within the church looked at, and was everyone in the church questioned? Could she have been meeting someone up at Box Hill that night? Break free, please stop. Get it out of your head a little bit and just respect the victim, please. Jesus Christ. Had Ruth confided in someone? Was someone coming to meet her to offer to help her get away? Did she believe she was going to start a new life and someone's taken advantage? Why is there an underlying sense of mistrust towards the media by those at Betchworth, a sleepy suburb? What do they know that we don't know? And what was so bad at home that made Ruth never want to go home from her friend's house before she disappeared? Why did she tell Catherine's mother so sincerely, please don't send me home? What investigation took place during the possible CCTV sighting and the newsagents? Did they ever find out who that was? Did they manage to say that it definitely wasn't Ruth? Moderators, can you jump on, please? What do you mean, Kaza? What became of the notes found at Box Hill, the empty tablet bottle and the alcohol? Were they ever forensically tested? Will we ever find out what those notes say? Were they unaliving notes? Were they just goodbyes? Did they point at her starting a new life? And what was the youth club in Dorking that Ruth often attended even though she was 17, and who had she met there? The whole case is a very sad example of how appearances can be deceptive, and if we just listen to the family in some cases, we'll never know the truth. And I do say all the time when I cover these cases and people go, well, you should respect the family. And I'm like, well, most of the time it's the family that have done something. So you have to be mindful. And I never want to upset a family. I will always keep the victim in mind. And we know, in about 80% of the case that you're going to be very well known to your killer, or the person who makes you go missing. And as we can see in this case, Ruth's father and stepmother told one particular way of a story. And when people started questioning it, they withdrew from everything and said, I don't want to be involved anymore. But yet the only time they ever get involved is to say, that's not true, that's not true. But they seem to have forgotten to look for their child. Missing persons have made appeals for Ruth to get in touch, but to no avail. It is time for a proof of life investigation to be undertaken by police. Can they trace her to anywhere? Is there any way of finding out if she went on to a new life? Is there some kind of breadcrumbs to follow to find out if she started a new life? What did I want to say? So I want to read to you the appeal. Where did I find it? I swear I wrote it down. Yeah, I did. I got it here. So I'm gonna read you the appeal that her dad wrote and put in the local newspaper 15 years after she disappeared. So he put this in the newspaper, so I'm going to read it all. Dear Ruth, we have the presents we bought you for Christmas in 1995. They're safe in the drawer waiting for you to come back. Though I expect your tastes have changed so much, you probably laugh at the music and clothes we got you. Though the house is still too large now that your sister Jenny has moved out, we can't bear to move. It's your home after all. Jenny lives nearby. You remember how she adores horses? Now she's got a full-time job in an equestrian centre. She's as happy as she can be without her big sister around. Your disappearance is still a mystery. You were confident, independent-minded, and apart from the usual teenage frictions, seemed happy at home. You enjoyed bell ringing and just started learning to play the organ. The congregation at the local church still prays for you every week. Though you'd just broken off with your boyfriend, you were still close. You had lots of friends and had just joined sixth form. You had a Saturday job in a music shop and you were trustworthy. The neighbours queued to ask you to babysit. In fact, you're reliable that you didn't come home from school on Monday afternoon in November of 1995. We assumed you'd forgotten one of your many activities. It was late the night before the terrible truth dawned. Surrey police swept straight into action. They've been brilliant and still keep in touch. They discovered that instead of going to school, you had called a taxi to take you to Dorking Library. You took taxis occasionally and regularly visited the library, but even so, this was totally out of character. As the day progressed, your behaviour became more inexplicable. You visited a florist and ordered an expensive bouquet of flowers for Mum. You left no message, simply strict instructions that it must not be delivered till Wednesday. The light was failing as you got out of the taxi. The driver say you stood there as he drove off. You can imagine our terror and how we searched month after month. I toured London hoping against hope I'd find you. We wondered if you had a secret, but your Filofax revealed nothing. The police discovered you had visited Box Hill before, but don't know why. They also found out you'd be worried about your grades and hid into your school report from us. There have been many false leads, even every time our spirits are raised, only to be dashed again. It's torture. Even now I find myself driving past bus stops and staring. Could that young woman be you? You're 27 now. And this was obviously 15 years afterwards. Most of all, we want you to know, while we miss you desperately and want you to know you're fine, we've never been angry with you, whatever prompted you that day. We're just sad that a big chunk of your life has been lived without us. There's nothing to forgive. Mum and I simply want to put our arms around you and tell you how much we love you. All any parent wants is for their child to be happy. Knowing you're safe and well, even if you don't want to come home, would make me the happiest man in the world. To me, that's bizarre. So fucking bizarre. To me, that's a bit fanciful. Well, she did call Karen her mum. To me, that's a bit like, hello. Since the day I saw you last, I have walked into the garden and I have plotted lots of flowers. And one day I hope that I will read it. It's not like I'm your dad and I wake up every day and I want to know where you are. Christmas isn't Christmas, birthdays aren't birthdays, and I go everywhere every day into town, and every person I see with brown hair, I think it's you. And I literally just want you to know I love you and I want you to come home. Like, it is so... He has wrote that for the media to be like, it's too long-winded. It goes on about stuff that you used to play the bells. She knows she played the fucking bells. She was there. Like, do you know what I mean? You don't need to remind her of what she used to do and what she used to enjoy doing, or she was worried about her report. Why aren't you just asking for her to come home? Why not just say, like, I miss you, and knowing you were up in Box Hill last, like, where could you be? Did you meet someone? Did someone hurt you? Like, come home. Like, to me, there's no emotional connection between her and him. I need to blow my nose. My chest has been awful today. Sorry, guys. I don't like to do it on live. I feel like I'm catching something off children. I 100% think he knows she's not coming home. I think she planned to run away. I really think she planned to run away. I think the notes probably that are found at Box Hill probably were in her house, not there, and I think they were probably planted there. I think she did go up to that Box Hill that night because the taxi driver saw her, but I thought sometimes she probably came home. They realised she hadn't been at school, something happened, because it's their own behaviour that makes me think that. Their disconnect from this case, from her, to not want to talk about her disappearance, to not want to be in documentaries with like really good people. Not even I love you in his script. No, like there was nothing there that struck you as a father who is grieving, who's not even really controlling his words. Like, you're not putting out a professional statement. If you were speaking to your child who was either missing or murdered or dead, you're going to not have any kind of control. It's going to be a bit messy. It's going to be something like, do you know what I mean? I don't know what to do. Like, I literally, not that we know of Kiki, but like I said, this case has been shut down. Like, for a little sleepy place in Surrey to not want to talk about it, to not want to have camera crews there, to not want people like near them. Like, why? She was one of your own. She was a child. What secrets belong in that village that stop people wanting to speak? Because I don't get it. Doesn't say he misses her, doesn't say he loves her, just says the house is quiet without her music. I think, Mr. Corey, because if I had to guess, I think the person in the, if it's not her, I would say the person in that newsagent's was just a young girl. Maybe she had wanted to get a job, maybe something, she got upset the newspapers weren't there, and then they looked at it and went, yep, definitely her. Because if you say it's definitely her, then they're not going to look for her anymore, are they? Let me put some pictures up. Where do I want to start? This is Ruth Wilson. This is Box Hill. Move it over a little bit. These are some of the articles. This is our parents, by the way. Let me just lift it down. These are like articles, missing people's appeals and stuff that have come out. Sorry, Mod, you often start work so hard tonight. I think obviously Tenerife, Tom and everyone have got me back in their sights for a little bit. They didn't beat us the first time, they won't beat us the second time. So this is kind of like Betchworth, where she was from, and this is Box Hill, the area that she went up into. I don't know if her dad was a Mason, to be fair. And this is her. Oh, it's okay, Blue. Yeah, Natalie, he's decided that he's doxed me tonight as someone called Miss Blue, that I'm not. He said he used his Inspector Gadget tools to find out who I was, which obviously they're broken. It never really mentions the stepmother either, no. And the father is, I would say he's very cold. Let me just do a little quick poll, and it's obviously just a guess from what I've told you guys, because I can only give you what there is to give. Quick poll. Are you... Put a smiling face if you think she's been murdered, and a crying face if you think she's just missing. And by just missing, I mean she went missing by herself. Even if she ended up deceased, like if she just went missing herself, she ran away. And put a smiley face if you think there's something quite suspicious here and secrets being kept. Because I honestly believe, right, if she had unalived herself at Box Hill, yeah, we're talking 29 years, she would have been found. A bone would have been found, a foot bone, a knee bone, a thigh bone, a skull. Like, people don't disappear. Bio mum, Kiki, fell down these stairs. She was told her whole life. It turned out she'd died from HANGING. So her mother had died back in 1982, I believe I said, when she was a teen. When she was younger. I've never met parents who don't want to take part in things and don't want to talk. The best thing I hope is that she did start a new life. So there was reliable sightings, yeah, there really was. So I kind of think that she is alive, maybe. I hope so. You've got to remember, in 1995, it was easy to go missing. It was much easier to go missing and start a new life. We weren't talking about really specific documents and really hard to like restart a life. A lot of people managed back then to restart lives with new documentation just off of names and dates of birth they got off grave sites. Back then, things weren't as secure. And I do believe that she could have gone on to live a new life and not want to come home. And I really do hope she got away. I really do hope Ruth Wilson, I do hope that she's living a good life, and I hope that she got away. But at the same time, you know, she could have been seen 2 days later in Dorking and come home, so it could happen. We just don't know. I just think her parents, her mum, stepmum, and her dad have acted very suspiciously. And I think Surrey not wanting to speak was very strange, like the little village, to not want even news crews there, not want to take part in anything. Even her friends only spoke out years and years later after they'd left the area. And they'd all come back and say, I think it's quite weird, like she bought her ex-boyfriend and her friend dinner and said, like, this is my goodbye gift to you, kind of thing. And they didn't go, like, what do you mean? What do you mean, where are you going? So that to me is really odd. If someone said that to me, like even on someone on TikTok said, this is my last message, my way of saying goodbye, instantly I'd be like, are you okay? Like, what's happening? What do you mean? Are you moving away? Are you going somewhere? Are you going to hurt yourself? Like, you would just ask those questions. So for someone to be your friend and be sat having food with you, breaking bread with you, saying like, this is basically our last supper, like, why would you not ask more? The flowers are odd. Apparently it was a really expensive bunch of flowers, but almost like funeral flowers. I don't believe so, Lil. They could have been, who knows? But they both told very similar stories. Yeah, exactly, Gothic. You'd have to be like, I know they were young, but he was in a relationship with her at some stage to just be like, cool, I'll have dessert then if it's a goodbye meal. Do you know what I mean? It just seems odd to me. Really odd. So yes. No, it wasn't around the anniversary of Mum's death. Yeah, why would you not ask? I pray she found a way out, and I pray maybe that person in the newsagent was her, and she's gone on. We know that when people disappear, like the longer you're away, the easier it is to stay away and not come back, and the harder it is to come back and be like, well, I've just been doing this. And obviously she never wanted to go home, so there could have been some level of abuse happening in the family home, which gave her more of a reason to leave. Because to me, that sounds like, to me, I've always believed she was alive, right? Because the notes left at Box Hill next to the empty paracetamol wrapper and the empty bottle of wine feels really, really set up. It feels like I am going to leave these here so you believe I'm unalive myself. That's what I'm going to do. And then, as far as we know, that she's left in another taxi or met someone to come back the other way. But she's not at Box Hill. They've done extensive searching. But we do know those things were left there. 3 notes, the empty paracetamol and the empty wine bottle. So I just don't know. But I just think it's sad that this case has never really hit the mainstream and not enough people are kind of talking about it. Have a night if you need, sweetheart. No, I'm going to get to bed in a minute. I am. We don't know, Carrie. It's never been released in the media exactly what the notes said. We just know that there was notes. We don't know what they said at all. So yeah. I hope she's alive. Have a good night. Shannon, you said you hope I'm alive. You hope you's alive. I am alive. I'm hardly alive with that Alicia's doll last night. I'll post that video, but I'll post that video of the doll, the funny one someone made me last night, and hardly anyone was in the live, so people are like literally saying like, are you okay? Is someone taking your account? Like, what's wrong with you? Somebody said they couldn't sleep all last night because it was the last thing they saw. I slept like an angel. Yeah, I slept fine. I've had that happen before. I had what happened before? I love the comments. Literally people just thinking I've gone mad. Well, I didn't even bother mentioning to anyone that it was Alicia's doll, not mine. They thought I was trying to do a Halloween video. It was terrifying. It was a horrible doll. Ruth Wilson, we just did the case. It was the fact that Alicia's comforted by it is a little bit strange. It's awful. But someone made me the video while I was live, so I just uploaded it when I came off live. And people are like, well, I woke up to go to the toilet and never got back to sleep because you showed me that doll. I was like, I might raffle it off at the end of the month if Alicia lets me.